Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the state variable analysis. Previously we have done transfer function modeling of control system. We have done analysis using transfer function modeling, different stability analysis using transfer function modeling, but this transfer function modeling has certain limitations. Now what are those limitations? Firstly, the as per definition of transfer function, we know that the system demands that the system should be the definition demands that the system should be relaxed. That means the initial condition should be 0, but practically it may not happen in every time that all the system is having 0 initial condition. Like if there is a capacitor, it can have certain amount of initial charge present in it. So if we want to model it, we cannot assume the charge, and that will not give us the appropriate output from the system. So that means if this type of things appears in the system, it will difficult to go to for transfer function modeling. So we need another type of modeling for this type of system approaches. So secondly, what is very important in the practical system, multiple number of inputs and multiple number of outputs may be present, but here it is difficult for us to handle multiple number of inputs, because we have observed that if we want to go for this type of modeling, we need to go for superposition theorem, where we have to take individual inputs acting and then get the responses, and after getting each and individual inputs, this responses should be accumulated, which is basically a large process, which is very difficult. Next is in this type of approach, we get the output with respect to the input, but what is the state of the system? We doesn't get any information, because it is very important to get the state of whether the states are saturated, what is the impact of the state on the output. There is certain important effect of the states in the output, but we actually overlooks that. This type of modeling is having this limitation too, and this is actually only applicable for linear time invariant system. We cannot go beyond for non-linear system. We cannot go for time invariant system using this type of modeling. So another approach is this transfer function modeling is basically classical control system approach. Another approach is modern control system, where we get the state variable analysis. Now what are the advantage of state space analysis? That is, here we can get the initial condition, we can consider the initial condition, so this is much versatile, and this we know that the importance or the essence of the transfer function modeling, that it is very simple. Here also we can able to get this this type of modeling into a simple form of a first order differential equation. The mathematical model is in simple form of first order differential equation. Next is it actually says something about the internal state of the system. So it is very important what we missed in the previous type of approach. It can be used for linear as well as non-linear, time invariant as well as time variant system. So this is also, it is also much flexible than the transfer function modeling approach, and also along with SISO system we can able to use for the multiple input multiple output system. So it can be used for MIMO system as well as SISO system. SISO system means single input single output system. So these are the advantages of state space over transfer function modeling. Now in state space we need to know about some important terminologies. So what are they? Firstly, as we are telling about state, so there is a terminology called state variable, that is which actually explains the system behavior. So what is state variable? State variables are the variables which determine the state of a dynamic system, how the system is internally. That actually we can judge about the state variables. Okay, so this is the state variable. Next, if more than one state variable is there to represent the dynamic system, naturally we can put them in a form of vector, and that is actually making the state vector. So if n number of state variables are needed to completely describe the behavior of a system, they can be formed as a state vector of n variables. So that is actually the state, that means where state vector is the place where all the state variables required to represent the system resides. Okay, and another terminology is the state space. So what is state space? State space is actually the neighborhood where the state variable resides. That means if x1, x2 up to xn are the minimum number of state variables which are necessary to describe the system dynamics, then the n-dimensional space consisting of x1 to xn actually gives the state space. Okay, so that the space which the n-dimensional space consisting of all the variables, it is actually forming the state space. So these three are the very important terminologies, and we should understand what actually it is. So state space actually, what is the difference from the transfer function modeling, that it actually gives us another information about the state of the system. So the variables which actually speaks about the state of the system is the state variable. The state variable where it resides, all the state, the minimum number of states variables are required to express the system, we have to get them, and where they reside they are actually making the vector, and the state variables, the minimum that number of state variables we have taken for the system to represent the system are actually they have the neighborhood they actually forming, the dimension they are actually, dimensional space they are consisting is the, basically that space is called the state space. Okay, so these are the important terminologies associated with state space. Next is the important thing we should know is the state equation and the output equation, which actually governs the whole state space analysis. Two equations governs the state analysis. Among them, one is the state equation. So what is state equation? System equation written in the form of first order differential equation in time domain is known as state equation. That means this is the equation which actually describe the system. This is the first thing. Another is the output equation. I will tell you about the output equation later. First, just know the state equation. What is state equation? Here, this first order differential equation means x dot t. This is the derivative of the state, which is actually expressed. Derivative means change of state. That can be expressed with the state itself and the input along with its matrices. One is system matrix, another is input matrix. So xt is actually the state vector. Here I have taken that to describe this system, at least or minimum number of n number of variables are required. That is why the x1 to xn are the number of variables which is actually defines the system properly. Okay, so these actually make a vector, these variables x1 to xn, they are actually making a matrix. Now this n cross 1 matrix is the state vector because it is giving you all the states present in the system to represent the whole system. So this is the state vector. It has a dimension of n cross 1. Next, ut is giving us the input. So this equation is actually governed by two things. One is state of the system and input of the system. That is why it is known as state equation. Now how many inputs? I have taken here that this system can be of one input. If only one input is present, only u1 will be there. Now as I have told that these state space are very useful for MIMO systems also, that for that reason I have taken more number of inputs. I have taken the number input is m. This number of input is independent of the variable. So you can choose the n number of variables. The number of inputs can be m, n, p, whatever it can be. I have taken m number of inputs. So these actually consist of a vector. This is having m number of rows with one column. So it is m cross 1 matrix, which is also known as a input vector. Now these two are actually multiplied with two matrices. This A is known as system matrix. A is known as system matrix, and this B is known as input matrix. This B is known as input matrix. Now what can be the dimensions? You can easily understand that this X, that means we are having a matrix, equation of matrix where X is n cross 1. Definitely X is my n cross 1 is the dimension of this X matrix. Naturally X dot also is having this dimension. It must be n cross 1. Now what can be A? We know that the row must be equal to the number of columns. So the row of these must be n, and if I want to justify this with this whole system, so n number of columns, this row means it is having n number of columns, so there must be n number of columns, and if I justify it the number of equations, that means it should have n number of rows. So this A matrix will be a square matrix of n cross n dimension. Similarly, if we think of the input matrix, what it will be? We know the input matrix is having a matrix of, it should be multiplied with a matrix dimension of m cross 1. Okay, so this will be, what will be the dimension of my B matrix? as the row of this system, the column of this B matrix will be multiplied with the row of the U matrix. Naturally, the column of B matrix must be M. So column of B matrix must be M, and if we want the n number of equations written, that means I need n number of rows. So B should also satisfy that condition. So number of rows will be here n. So you can easily understand that why this A system matrix is written as n cross n and why the matrix B is written as n cross m. So in this way we can able to get the dimension of a state equation, all the matrices of a state equation. Now similar way we just want to know what is the output equation. The output equation actually governs the relation between the state, the input and the output of the system. So here the output is actually it is actually not dependent on only input, it is also dependent on the state also. So that's why these yt equal to cxt plus dut gives us the output equation, where we know that cxt is the state vector and ut is the input vector. We have discussed this too in the previous slide. So here output vector. Now as I have told you that this system may be MIMO system, so input and output may not match. We have considered here that this system is having m number of inputs and p number of outputs. So this is a MIMO system of m number of inputs and p number of outputs. So the number of output equation must be satisfy the p. So it is having p number of variables. So I have taken this output vector as a matrix of p row and 1 column. So it is having the dimension of p cross 1. Now just taking the similar way, we can able to get the expression dimension of C and D matrices. How we can get? We know that Y is having a dimension of p cross 1. That means this Y is a dimension of p cross 1. That means it should have a p number of row and 1 column. So it is actually multiplication of C with X matrix. So C is a matrix, and what is dimension of X? We know the X is a n cross a. It is a dimension of n cross 1. N number of rows and 1 column. It is having this dimension, and D is having a dimension that will help it to get associated with U. So what is the dimension of U? We got that it has m number of rows and 1 column. So it was m cross 1. Now how we will get the dimension of C? We know the number of rows here should be equal to the number of columns in the C. So number of columns of C is n. Now these must match with the number of rows of the output equation. The number of rows in the output equation is P. So here must be definitely the rows must be P. So it will be P cross N, as it is written as P cross N. Similarly, you can also identify what can be D. Now here m number of rows are there, so definitely it should have a m number of columns, and what will be the number of rows? It will depend upon the number of rows of the output equation. It must be P. So it is P cross M. So if the input of a multiple input is M, and if it is P, the output equation dimension will be Y should be a output vector of P cross 1 dimension, whereas C must be P cross N, and D must be of P cross M. In this way, we can able to get the dimensions of output equation. So next, we can able to represent this state space in form of block diagram. So what was the equation? The state equation was x dot t So this is the state equation. Now you look that if we multiply the U, that means this input, with the matrix B, and if we add it up with AX, so that means if that need a x dot, so that means there we need a integrator. That integrator should have the input as x dot. So the output of the integrator will be x. Now this element is feedback through A. So this is coming through A and it is added up in a summer with BU. So this part is giving you the state equation. This part is giving us the state equation. This block diagram, this part is giving us the block diagram of state equation. Similarly, what was the output equation? The output equation has relation with x, u and y. So yt was cxt plus dut. That means you have a x here. So if you multiply with it with the c, you will get here the cx factor. And if you take the input and multiply with the D matrix, the D element, you will get the du factor. So add it up, you will get the y. So this part is actually giving us the output equation. So from this block diagram we can understand actually between the output and input there lies the state equation, and if the state changes, the output will also changes. So in this way we can able to represent the state space using block diagram. So I guess in today's lecture what we have covered that why should we go for state variable analysis, what are the advantages of state space representation, what are the terminologies, and what is the state equation and what is the output equation. How can we understand if it is a MIMO system, what will be the dimensions of the state equation and output equation, and the important parameters associated with state equation and output equation, where A is the system matrix. This system matrix dimension we can identify. B is the input matrix. Now here C and D, this is the output. C is the output matrix, its dimension we have also discussed, and D is the coupling matrix. Coupling matrix dimension we have also discussed. How we can get the dimension of A, B, C, D matrices, and how we can able to represent the state space in form of block diagram we have also discussed in this lecture. So thank you.